Leigh Richardson from the Brain Performance Center is right now doing a psychological examination of us going, wow, you guys are really messed up, I think. Leigh, what's your assessment?
I think you guys are in sensory overload, just talking about the job.
Speaking of sensories, what happens if you sniff poo for 2 months? You had any research on that one?
No, hey, there's an opportunity. There's a gap in the literature. We can fill the gap.
I'm trying. Yeah, no, I perfectly happy letting somebody else fill that gap. All right, Leigh. She actually wasn't joining us today to talk about sniffing poo, even if it pays. But now our smartphones, no surprise here. Latest survey shows, solid majority of us are still addicted to our smartphones. 60% of us in particular say, nope, we wouldn't be able to make it even a day without them. Leigh, I kind of have to raise my hand. I mean, I love nature and I'm happy setting it down when I can. But it was a long time ago, but there was one day I made it to work and I didn't have my phone. And it really was like a piece of me was gone that day. So I'd be a hypocrite to say that I'm not part of this camp, most likely. What do you make of this?
Well, I think, our phone, we've gotten worse. I think cell phone addiction has been around for years, but I think we've gotten worse in the last 2 years. Well, when you have a client tell you that their phone is their best friend, that's pretty scary. And my response to that was no. Your phone gives you access to your best friend, but your phone is not your best friend. And I think we think of our phone in that way because it's so integrated. It's part of every single part of our life. How we reach our kids, how we check our bank account, how we look at our work schedule, how we look at our email, how we look at our photos. Where do you keep your photos? I don't have any of those photo books anymore. They're all on my phone.
These are good points. And I sit there and listen to this and go, well, that's probably not going to end well. And what came to mind, Leigh, is on the relationship component, we already know that we've taken Alexa or Siri or these digital assistants generally and turned them into parts of people's lives to the point to where some actually will try to conversate with them. Have we kind of digitized our relationships generally? I mean, have we really blurred the lines between AI and actual people at this point?
I don't think so. I think we need to wake up and realize nothing is more important for me than going face to face with somebody and look at them in the eye. And people that text instead of calling, I don't know. Now, for a simple, would you please stop and get milk? Sure, text. But to have a level of conversation, pick up the phone and call them. Don't text. And I think that the hardest thing for us, because for the last couple of years, we've kind of been in that quarantine and we've gotten used to using our phone it's our lifeline. And now that we're coming back and we've got to establish a new norm. And the new norm is that you don't have the phone in your hand 24/7.
And I'm not too sure, but I believe that if we don't break away from the phone on occasion, we might think that sniffing poo is a viable career path.
I think you got a point there. I think you have a good point.
Leigh, it's always a pleasure.
You really do, because neurological disorders happen from too much digital. Thank you so much for having me.
There you go. Yeah, Leigh Richardson, the Brain Performance Center.